All right, thrill seekers, Happy New Year 2024. I thought I would talk about a little New Year's koan today. You know, in Japan, New Year's is a big deal. They really kind of go all out for New Year's, but not the way we do. Not the way we do in the West. It's not a big party scene with a lot of fireworks and stuff. It's more like a reflective sort of family holiday, much like Christmas is in most of the West. Whereas Christmas in Japan is a lot of people just ignore it, but the people who pay attention to it usually use it as an excuse for a party, and they go out and eat Kentucky Fried Chicken. Because apparently Kentucky Fried Chicken did some kind of a ad campaign in the 70s that they tried to associate Kentucky Fried Chicken with Christmas, and it was extremely successful. And to this day, Japanese people will be surprised to hear that Americans don't eat Kentucky Fried Chicken on Christmas Day. I had to tell people that probably 11 times because I spent 11 Christmases in Japan. Anyway, so here is the New Year's koan, and I believe I talked about this either last year at New Year or maybe the year before, but we're going to talk about it again. And I hope I won't say the same thing. I didn't go back and review my old video to see what I said back then. So let's see what I'm going to say now. This is book 1, koan number 39. That's how you find things in Master Dogen's Shinji Shobo Genzo. And I found out I put this on my blog a few years ago, and I gave the wrong page citation. The page is actually 56, and for reasons unknown to me, I said that it was on page 70. It's not on page 70. It's on page 56. And here is the koan as translated by Guru Nishijima Roshi, my teacher, with Mike Lutchford and Jeremy Pearson, 2 of his students. One day, a monk asked Master Kyosei Dofu of Ryusaku Temple in the Ko district, these are guys in China, "Is the first day of the new year related to Buddhism?" The master said, "Yes, it is." The monk said, "What is the Buddhist teaching about New Year's Day?" The master said, "New Year's Day is the beginning of happiness and all things become new." The monk said, "I thank the master for his answer." The master said, "Today I am not so clever." On another day, the monk asked Master Myokyo, so it's a different master, and I guess the same monk, that's the implication anyway. In Chinese, it's probably not as clear as all that. I'll look it up and tell you before the end of the video. "Is the first day of the new year related to Buddhism?" This is what the monk asked Master Myokyo. Master Myokyo said, "No, it is not." The monk said, "Every year is a good year, and every day is a good day. Why do you say it is not?" Master Myokyo said, "An old man of the Cho family drinks sake, and an old man of the Ri family gets drunk." The monk said, "Your words were sufficiently controlled and great at the beginning, but now they are very small, like something with the head of a dragon and the tail of a snake." Master Myokyo said, "Today my mind is not very clear." So that's the translation they give, and here's the commentary by Nishijima Roshi, probably with, I'm not sure how much Mike and Jeremy had to do with this, maybe a lot, maybe a little, but anyway, this is the commentary that Nishijima Roshi signed off on. Master Kyosei said that New Year's Day is related to Buddhism, and Master Myokyo, who he says is Sosen Shikan, so if you want to go look him up, said that it is not. These answers seem to be completely contradictory, so who was right? We can say that both were right. Reality is complicated and not logical. Greeting each other and saying Happy New Year is itself Buddhist conduct, because just acting in a kind of a normal, nice way is Buddhist conduct, and makes the New Year fresh and new. However, even though there is New Year's Day, everyday life goes on, and January 1st is just another day. Many people drink alcohol and get drunk. Master Myokyo quoted an old saying about the Cho family and the Ri family, which was used to indicate an illogical situation. He wanted to suggest the complexity of the real situation. He chose not to respond to the monk's criticism of his words, perhaps feeling that the monk's attitude was too abstract. The master's statements, "Today I'm not so clever, and today my mind is not very clear," indicate their reluctance to discuss Buddhism intellectually. So that's Nishijima Roshi's version. And now I'd like to read you the dreaded John Dido Laurie version. I've gone on record saying I'm not a huge fan of this version of... John Dido Laurie put out his version of the Shinji Shobo Genzo a couple of years after Nishijima Roshi, and obviously he wanted to claim it as the first English translation when it actually wasn't, so he doesn't acknowledge that the Nishijima Roshi translation even exists. So that already makes me kind of... Anyway, here is their version. It is, in their version, titled John King's Buddha Dharma at the New Year. These don't have titles in the original version, so the titles are added by the translators. So here it is. Main case. Now he gives the Chinese pronunciation of the master's names, so that's why they're different, but they're the same. They're the same teachers. Jing King, I think that's how you pronounce Daofu, at Longxi Monastery, was asked by a monastic, "Is there Buddha Dharma at the beginning of the new year?" Jing King said, "Yes." The monastic said, "What is the Buddha Dharma at the beginning of the new year?" Jing King said, "The beginning of the year is auspicious. The myriad things are all new." The master said, "Thank you for your answer." Jing King said, "I lost virtue today." That's we're going to pay attention to, because I'm going to tell you why it's different. Because that's not what Nishijima Roshi's translation said. Although the rest of it is basically different words saying the same thing. That one's kind of different. Later, another monastic asked Zen master Shongqing Shikan Myangjiao. So in this version, he's making it a different monastic. That's why I say in Chinese it's probably ambiguous. It probably just says a monastic. I'll just let you know in a minute. Later, another monastic asked Zen master Shongqing Zhou, whoever it was, "Is there Buddha Dharma at the beginning of the new year?" Myangjiao said no. This is the other master. We don't worry about their names too much. The monastic said, "Every year is a good year, every day is a good year. How is it not in the new year?" Ming Zhao said, "When old man Zhang drinks wine, old man Li gets drunk." So different names, but the same name for Ri, but anyway, it doesn't matter. Same quote. The monastic said, old, big. That's different too. A dragon head, a snake tail. Ming Zhao said, "I lost virtue today." Okay, so what do they actually say? All right, so because I do so much for you people out there in TV land or YouTube land, I went and looked it up in this is Nishijima Roshi's, I think it's in 6 volumes. It's his Japanese version of Shinji Shobo Genzo, which is much longer and much more detailed than the English version. And one of these days, maybe somebody will translate it, but it probably won't be me. And I looked up the same koan in case there's somebody who is fluent in this stuff. You can screenshot that or freeze frame it, and you can see it for yourself without having to go out and buy the book. There it is. I'm leaving it up on screen long enough for you to take a look. And as far as the thing about the monastic, yes, I can tell right now. It just says a monk. So we don't know if it's the same monk asking the question of 2 different masters or 2 different monks. It just says a monk. It doesn't even say a monk. It just says monk. That's because that's in Chinese. You don't have articles like we do in English. But the, 2 things. The thing where he says old, big, a dragon's head, a snake's tail, which Nishijima Roshi translated as... "Your words were sufficiently controlled and great at the beginning, but now they are very small, like something with a dragon head and a snake tail." And what's actually written here in Chinese is really old, big, dragon head, snake tail. So you can see that Nishijima Roshi is giving an interpretation here of what that means, and I don't see any reason to doubt his interpretation. It's just that's probably what it means. I don't know why Dido Laurie chose to just leave it exactly as it is, because that's exactly what it says. Old, old, big, big. That's what it says there. I mean, I know it's Chinese characters, but that's what they mean. I suspect, because I see this a lot in the Daido Lori version, which is one of the things that I don't like about it, is he seems to be intent on trying to make everything as obscure and like, whoa, woo, trying to impress you with a lot of like things that don't make much sense. And I think Nishijima Roshi just decided, let's just make sense out of this old saying. But the other bit is, today I lost virtue is how Today I lost virtue is how Daido Lori and Kazuaki Tanahashi translate it. But Nishijima Roshi gives it differently. He says, he translates it once as "Today I'm not so clever," and translates it the second time as "Today my mind is not very clear," although it's both times saying this thing, which is the pronunciation they give it is Kyo Shitsurisu. And I'll put that on screen for you, Kyo Shitsurisu. I looked that up, and in Japanese, Shitsurisu is not a word anymore, but in Chinese, it means to suffer a loss, to be defeated. So it just means today I am defeated. So translating as today I'm not so clever, or today my mind is not so clear is fine, but it is taking some liberties, so Nishijima Roshi took some liberties with that. So, in the end, what the heck does it all mean? Well, you heard Nishijima Roshi's commentary on it, and I will let you look up Daido Lori's commentary on it, because I just find Daido Lori's commentary on it, frankly, not all that useful. Let's just leave that one. I'll let you look it up. It's easy to find that book. So what do we have here? We have a monk saying it's the first day of the new year related to Buddhism. A lot of people might wonder that because it's a holiday and everybody's going nuts over it, and it's a big deal. It's a big deal in China. It's a big deal in Japan. Big deal all over Asia. In most of Asia, they celebrate the Lunar New Year, and that's the one everybody gets excited about. In Japan, they used to celebrate the Lunar New Year, but sometime probably around the Meiji Restoration, they decided to do what they always did on the Lunar New Year, but shift it to January 1st, so just to line up with the West, because they wanted to Westernize. But it's the same deal. So they have big celebrations and things, and it seems like a big deal. So somebody might say, well, is there a Buddhist meaning to New Year? And really, there kind of isn't. I mean, that would be my answer, which wouldn't turn into a koan. There just isn't really anything Buddhist about the New Year specifically. There's nothing to tie it in with Buddhism. But this first master says New Year's Day is the beginning of happiness and all things become new. He's just trying to say something nice. He's trying to say something positive, and it's the Happy New Year, basically. And the monk thanks him for his answer, and he says, today I've lost. I think he's saying today I'm defeated because he feels like maybe the message that he tried to convey to the monk failed. It didn't quite land. So the next story is the monk says, whether it's the same monk or not, I don't know, says it's the first day of the year, you're related to Buddhism, whatever. No, it is not, says the other master. And then the monk challenges him, every year is a good year, every day is a good year. Why do you say it's not? And Master Miyoko says, an old man of Cho family drinks sake, and the old man of Ri family gets drunk. Now, according to Nishijima Roshi, this is just trying to say things are logical. Things don't always fit what we think they should. And then the monk gets really critical and says, "Hey, old dude, you're just stupid, like a dragon head and snake tail. So it means you look like you might be really scary and formidable and great, but then when we look behind you, you just got a little snake's tail and you're nothing." And the master says, today I am defeated, which means he doesn't want to discuss it intellectually. And I think that's basically the meaning, that's the especially strong meaning of the second one, is that we're not gonna get anywhere by discussing the logic of it all and trying to make sense and make a nice explanation out of it. So let's just leave the question. That's I think what the master in both instances means, but much more stronger in the second one. So there you go. I don't know how much more I can say about that koan. It's not one of the more mystical ones, but it does point up this idea of some things you just can't explain, or you can explain them, and as Nishijima Roshi liked to say, people like explanations. But the explanations are not the thing that they explain. And so New Year's Day is a day. And it's a day like most days in most respects, except the stores are all closed. Except I had to go out to Home Depot yesterday, which was January 1st, and they were open. I had to get chainsaw oil because I'm going to saw some tree limbs later today. Anyway, so I'm going to do a really manly thing for New Year's. But otherwise, it's a day, and it's the human tendency, tendency is, I guess, a good enough word, of just making certain days special and certain other days unspecial, and this is just something we human beings do, and it's fine. And like the master in the first part of the koan, we can just say Happy New Year and be like, hey, Happy New Year, and leave it at that, and you don't have to make a big deal out of it. But there's no significance to it as, any day, like Rohatsu. I don't do Rohatsu. A lot of Buddhists do. It's December 8th. It's the supposed day of Buddha's enlightenment. I don't know if you can hear the sirens. There must be something crazy going on in the next street over. Or maybe it's my street. Oh my God. Oh no, they stopped. Oh my God, maybe it's my neighbor. Anyway, we'll see. Maybe if you hear gunfire next and then I go blank, then you'll know. Anyway, what was I saying? It's a day like any other day, and you can say that this day is special, and you can celebrate it, and you can make a big deal out of it, like Rohatsu. That's what I was talking about, and make a big deal out of Rohatsu, the day the Buddha got enlightened. But my teacher, Nishijima Roshi, never did. He kind of ignored Rohatsu. One year we had arranged by students, not by Nishijima Roshi, a supposed all-night sit, which wasn't really. It was we got together around, I think, 7 or 8 and sat until midnight. And Nishijima Roshi joined us for the beginning of it, but he basically said, I go to sleep at 9 p.m. He just left. So he sat with us the first 2 or 3 times through 3 rounds of zazen, and then went off to bed. Because that was his attitude towards these kind of things. They're just kind of a thing that people do, and if you want to celebrate them, that's fine. And if you don't want to celebrate them, that's fine too. It doesn't matter. There's nothing intrinsic in the day that makes it like especially awesome. So there you go. Happy New Year to you. I hope you enjoy this year, and I hope it brings good things. And my resolution is to try and read the gosh darn Lotus Sutra, because I should just read the Lotus Sutra, even if it's not... well, maybe it'll become one of my favorites. I've never read the Lotus Sutra all the way through. I've read certain parts of it a lot of times, but I've never read the whole darn thing from cover to cover. So that's my resolution. Anyway, we'll see you next time. Have a good time all the time. Bye. Ziggy and I went hiking for New Year's Day. That's what we did on New Year's Day. How do you feel about New Year's, Ziggy? Are you going to make a resolution? Like a little doggy resolution? Or are you just going to sleep more? Maybe your resolution is to sleep more in the new year. All right, we'll see you later, Ziggy. Bye.